I love me a morally gray character, that's all I'll say. I knew he was sus, dude. What just happened? You're joking, right? That's the end. You're paying for my therapy. Hey Stitches, I'm Sam Cole, and in today's video we are going to be reading the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy for the first time. I knew almost nothing about this trilogy. I had not read any of them. Basically just knew that a lot of people really liked them and that they were very fairy tale-esque in nature. But I've always loved the UK covers a little bit more than the US ones, and so I think subconsciously I held off on buying these until I could afford to get those, but I decided I couldn't wait any longer, so let's hop right into it. Hey Stitches, we're starting off this video in kind of a chaotic space. I just got out of the shower and it's like 8 o'clock at night. I was just gonna wind down for the night. I've been sick all weekend with like a cold or something, but I was just sitting here scrolling on my Instagram and I saw like 10 different people post about how the Once Upon a Broken Heart series is on sale on the Kindle version for like $2.99 each. Well, the first two. And I have been really interested in reading this series. I haven't read it before, but obviously like everyone and their mother talks about it. I just have never gotten around to picking them up. I love the like UK covers a lot more than the US covers, and so I guess like part of me has kind of like not bought them because I'd rather have those, but I thought this was like the perfect excuse to finally get my hands on them, and especially since the third one, I think it's A Curse for True Love, comes out like in 2 days. So I thought I would just drop everything that I was reading and doing and go ahead and download and purchase the first 2 books. And I thought it would be so fun to do like a live reaction with you guys. I'll do like non-spoilers and everything, and if I say anything close to a spoiler, I'll like put a warning on the screen. But yeah, I'm super excited. I know almost nothing about this series, like literally. I know that it's very like fairy tale-esque. I think Stephanie Garber's writing is supposed to be very lyrical, very poetic. I haven't read the Caraval series. So yeah, this is my first like taste of Stephanie Garber, so I guess we'll see if I like it. But I just finished reading A Fire Endless and A River Enchanted, and I loved the lyrical writing of that one and was really craving something else like it, and I'm just like always in a fantasy mood. So yeah, I thought it would be the perfect time. I don't really want to be holding a physical book right now just since I don't feel good, which I know sounds lazy, but I thought what better time, what better excuse than to buy some new books, you know, just treat myself and kind of like see what all the fuss is about. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey besties. Okay, so it's the next morning and I'm already 18% of the way through Once Upon a Broken Heart. It is very good. I decided to get to part 2, The Magnificent North, and then I stopped for the night. just so I could like keep you guys updated. So far it's really good. I'm absolutely eating it up. Like I said, I knew almost nothing about this going into it. I still don't really know a whole lot. I've gotten to the point where they like made their bargain, and now like we're dealing with like the repercussions of that, but that's all I'll say. But I'm going through some of my highlights, and first off, I loved the dedication of this book, which is for anyone who has ever made a bad decision because of a broken heart. That I am a sucker for a good dedication, so I knew we were off to a good start with that. Oh, I absolutely just love like the overall like fairy tale vibes of this. I know that's like the whole point, but it really hits different. It's really good, and I really love like how lyrical the language is and how it really feels like we've like stepped into a storybook. Oh, I also really love this idea of like the decks of destiny and how all the fates are represented in these cards. I don't know a ton about that yet, but I've always been drawn to like tarot cards or other like magical entities attached to like physical objects, and so that's really cool and really has me intrigued. So I'm excited to see like how far that goes. And yeah, like I said, I won't say a whole lot. I'm absolutely loving it. Jax, I can already tell. I love me a morally gray character, that's all I'll say. So I really am like, come on, just kiss her. Let's just see. You know, it's probably her. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, the only thing that's like kind of like cringed me out, and it was like minor, like super minor, is Evangeline's hair is described as rose gold, which sounds absolutely stunning, but all I could think about is like a high school trend where like everything needed to be rose gold, like my phone, my jewelry, all that sort of thing. So that icked me out a little bit, but I've gotten over it. I saw some fan art of her to try and like picture her a little better, and it's pretty, so I've gotten over that. But yeah, I'm really intrigued by the like apples that Jax keeps biting into. We've made a lot of references to that. The only thing with apples I think of is Snow White, for one, the poison apple, and two, like maybe Adam and Eve, but that's like pretty biblical and less like fairy tale. But let's get to reading. I'm loving this. I'm hoping that I could get through these pretty quickly, and then we could go to Barnes together and pick up the new one that just came out, I think today or tomorrow. But let's get to reading. Tiny dragons. A tiny pepper black dragon about the size of a chipmunk. That's amazing. I love these like newspaper clippings that are in there throughout the beginning, at least. It's pretty cool. It's a nice way to get like a snapshot of the world. Alright, besties. It's the next day, and we need to have a conversation, okay? Who told me that I was gonna fall in love with the series? Okay? I got to part 3 last night, Chaos. got a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts. Basically every chapter I have something that I want to say to you guys, but I want to keep this spoiler free. I stopped at part 3 last night. We're about to meet a vampire, I guess, so I'm wearing my Sucker for Smut shirt. I have a lot of thoughts. This is really good. That's all I'll say. Let's finish this book. I knew he was sus, dude. I knew it. I'm gonna be so real. That shit hurted. Why? Why? She's... I'm starting the second book, The Ballad of Never After. I hate you guys, but I love you. Tell me why I am only 30% through Ballad of Never After and already want to purchase every single version of these books in physical copies and annotate and reread, and I'm not even done. I'm not even halfway done with the second book. What's in these? It is later. We're diving back into The Ballad of Never After, and I'm on chapter 27 in part 2. And I don't know if this is dramatic, but I'm like 56% of the way through this book, the second book in a trilogy, so I'm only halfway through the trilogy, but it might be one of my favorite fantasy worlds of all time. And I know that's a lot, and there's just something about it, and I don't really think I have all my thoughts together yet, but I just wanted to tell you that. You're joking, right? Look at me. You're joking, right? That's the end. You guys had to wait. When did this book come out? 2022? I guess it's a good thing that I already bought the third one. I really don't know what to say. Wow. 5 stars. Y'all suck for recommending the series to me. But 5 stars. I gotta go. Every single one of you. Every single one of you that recommended this book and this series to me, you're paying for my therapy. You got me. The shit hurted. Up. Ignore the gloves. My hands hurt. We are about 50% of the way through A Curse for True Love. And I'm going to show you a little quote from this. It's not a spoiler. I'm only going to show you 2 words. But oh my god. If you don't want to see, just close your eyes for like 5 seconds. Hey besties, so it's a couple days later. I've had some time to stew, to get my thoughts in order, and I'm in love. I mean, I think you can tell from my reactions in the video, they were a bit dramatic, but I mean, I don't really even know what to say. This trilogy was really amazing. You talk about books being like a form of escapism or allowing you to like see from other people's perspectives, and something about this story was very much like that. I think that Stephanie Garber did an amazing job of building this world through her descriptive prose and her lyrical language, but also just the attention to detail when it came to describing like our environments and like what they were wearing and all of that, and I thought that that was really just top tier. Going off of that, I thought that the characters, I mean, were just amazing. Evangeline and Jax. I mean, need I say more? Honestly, like, they have become one of my all-time favorite book couples, like right up there with some of my Sarah J Maas favorites. I always like to tell people when I talk about my favorites, I don't really think it's fair to include the Sarah J Maas world in that, because those are like on a different level. I've dedicated so much time to that series that I don't really know how anything could beat it. But ignoring the Sarah J Maas world, this Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy and fantasy world is my top favorite of all time. I was a little nervous going into it, just since it was YA. I was nervous it would be a little too young and not enough of that deep relationship that I feel like you get with some of the new adult fantasies. But I mean, it was amazing. I don't even really want to talk about these books too much because I think it's best to go in blind, kind of like I did, but just trust me, the hype is worth it. I think if you really love like lyrical prose and that fairy tale-esque style of story, then you'll love these. I mean, it's not like an epic adventure with all of these things happening, but there's obviously like a central conflict and how that progresses and moves forward. And I think one of the best things about this trilogy is that, I mean, now it's completed, so you don't have to wait. It really builds off of each other, and I know a lot of people think that the middle one is their favorite, and I think that's valid. I mean, the most happens in that one since it's the middle novel, but I mean, there's not one like sore thumb in this. They're really all amazing, and I loved seeing how the characters and their relationships like built and grew through them. So I did cave and ended up purchasing the physical copies of all 3 books, and there's so much that happens in these books that I wanted to comment on, but I wanted to keep this vlog spoiler free, especially for those like myself who are just getting into this series for the first time. But I have decided that I'm gonna do a full spoiler reread and annotation of this series, so if you're interested in that, please let me know. I'm gonna start working on that pretty soon, and obviously like there'll be spoiler warnings and all of that. But yeah, I really loved this. Thank you so much for those of you who recommended it to me. My heart hurts, I need therapy, but ultimately I'm very happy that I decided to read it. So I really hope that you guys loved this video as much as I loved making it. Please let me know if you've read this series and what you thought, if I should read Caraval, her other trilogy by Stephanie Garber, what you think about that. And yeah, be sure to like and subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Love ya, bye.